Hi, everybody. Tim Hughes here. I'm the CEO and co-founder of DLA Ignite. After a couple of technical hiccups, I am here with Mario. Mario, thank you so much for joining us. Before we get into the conversation, where can people find you?
Hello, Tim. Great to be your guest today. I'm Mario Bruckmann, and I'm the founder and one of the founders of the initiative Social Procurement on LinkedIn. But of course, I also have a day job, as you would call it. And in my day job, I'm the head of supply chain development for Jacob Müller Holding. It's a company mainly active with several affiliate companies in the textile machinery industry.
Okay. And you're willing to take questions through this, aren't you?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Cool. So just give us some background. You know, you're a big procurement person, but just give us a very quick view of Mario and your journey today.
Yeah, I would say, as you say, I'm obviously in procurement since more than 20 years. So I had several different positions, always something with supply chain, always with a focus on procurement. There are some bad people in the world who tell me there is nothing else I can do. I say there could be other things I could do. They would just not be that much fun, probably.
Right, of course.
So I still feel very well in procurement. My girlfriend actually says she likes procurement as well because that means spending other people's money. I always say that's not true. It's saving other people's money.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of fun. I was always in technical industries. I'm an electronics engineer originally, and I was always kind of in technically driven industries, more than 10 years in various telecommunication companies, then a bit more than 10 years in various life sciences companies, medical devices, and now obviously with Jacob Müller Holding, which is a lot of fun, very interesting company, family owned in fifth generation. So that means there is a big playground for procurement and supply chain, and whilst it's still a family company, it's substantial. I mean, we have offices all over the world. We are producing at several different locations. In our affiliate companies, there is actually 5 affiliate companies with Jacob Müller Holding, and some of them even our own small groups again. So it's a big complexity and interesting challenge and a lot to do.
So how did you get into using procurement and social?
Well, I would say I just had a need. I'm actually looking for new suppliers for one of our affiliate companies, Benninger. It's a company in the area of textile finishing, and we are looking for new suppliers in order to rearrange our supplier portfolio a bit and build our supply chain a bit different. So we wanted to do a market screening, and then of course you have these standard websites where you're going to. You use Google, of course. Then you have these indexes online and stuff like this, where suppliers can list themselves, talk about their skills and stuff like this. So that's a very typical thing. And since I'm since about a year a little bit more active on LinkedIn than before. So let's say before I was more using it as a CV repository, and now it's kind of I really see it as a social network. And I'm always trying to kind of figure out how you can practically use it instead of just doing it for fun, because like spending all the time on social media just for fun for me is a bit too much. So I want to make something practical out of it. And of course, there is this social selling trend, which I definitely don't have to explain to you, and most probably not to most of your audience. And I was actually thinking, aren't there other possibilities as well? And
yes.
If I'm looking for something, why do I not speak out to the world? Because it's kind of on social medias, procurement people tend to be quiet, I would say.
Is that because they feel that as soon as they put their head above the parapet, they get deluged with salespeople saying, "Buy my stuff because we're great"?
I hear like 2 or 3 different things that are repeatedly reasons for that. One of the reasons is definitely that if you're having a profile, it's easier to shoot you. And that's why, obviously, the salespeople will approach you. And I can actually give you a little side remark what happened once I raised my profile. The second reason that some people are always telling is, my boss is not is not supporting this. I mean, he thinks if I spend time on social media, I'm not working.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the second thing I often hear. And then, of course, there are a lot of people who say, social media is for sales. So salespeople should be there. And I always say, if only salespeople should be there, who is then buying?
Yeah.
You can have millions of salespeople on one platform. It doesn't help if there is no buyer, right?
Yeah.
So from my point of view, social media should be a place where we can get together and where we can find business solutions for all of us, and not a place where salespeople are showing themselves off and no one is looking.
If
that makes no sense.
Salespeople, right? Who's buying? Yeah, I totally agree.
Absolutely. So to your first, to the first reason we discussed, it's an interesting development. Once I started with social procurement, means for us, social procurement means not only making ourselves visible, it also means posting our sourcing requests. So the people I have in my ambassador team, they are actually supporting other procurement people in really actively make posts once we are looking for something. Now, the thing is, once we started to make these posts, the spam mails, like, these usual in-mails and stuff that you are always getting, did actually reduce.
Right, fantastic. Well, that's a benefit.
And I can only assume what the reason is. I mean, I know that salespeople are often working with the Sales Navigator tool, and of course, the Sales Navigator tool helps them to do their marketing more targeted, right? And obviously, since I now clearly say what I want, I'm looking for sheet metal parts, I'm looking for motors, I'm looking for mechanical assemblies and stuff like this. Obviously, the people that are selling other stuff do not see me on their hit list very high up, and that's why they usually not approach me. So my spam did significantly reduce.
So let me go to your so if we think about your LinkedIn profile. So the first thing about your LinkedIn profile that's different is that on your picture you've actually created a yellow
frame,
ribbon, which if was I'm a networker or something like that, but with yours you've got a hashtag which is I am buying. So you're standing out and saying that you're buying products.
Exactly.
So not just you're putting your head above the parapet, you're standing right up.
Absolutely.
And then in the articles that you're writing, or the posts that you're making, you're actually detailing the products that you're looking to buy. So it's like a very high level summary RFP advert. So if you're so whatever you're buying, if salespeople are on LinkedIn and they're searching for what it is that you're buying, they should find you.
I would hope so. Yeah, there is a good chance if they use the right keywords and they sooner or later realize that this I am buying hashtag is obviously something which can be used by buyers and stuff like that. Of course, at the end we would need a mass and we would need a crowd, of course, and in order to understand, because today there are probably like, I don't know, a few people following this I am buying hashtags or searching actively for it. If something like that would be absolutely established, it would be much more efficient for salespeople to really check for I am buying together with a few keywords of their own product, and they would immediately see the posts that buyers are putting up, basically mentioning the products that they're looking for and figuring out which buyers are interested. Of course, we also have a little bit of a hope that the algorithms will kind of be trained and will understand where to deliver our search posts to. And to be honest, last but not least, theoretically, if sooner or later LinkedIn wakes up, that could be a big business for them, I would say, because nowadays Sales Navigator can only look for either companies or people, but it cannot screen posts. So you cannot say, show me all the posts. You can say, show me all the posts of these people, or show me all the posts of this company, or something like that. but you can't say, show me all the posts where someone says, I am buying sheet metal, for example. So let's imagine that this function would be available in this software for the salespeople. I think it would make the life of everyone easier, you know, because what I repeatedly tell is, being a buyer, I have absolutely nothing against salespeople. I have something against people stealing my time, offering me something all the time that I don't need. Of course, they can't know, you know, they kind of must guess. Some of them are just like shooting everywhere, of course, but some of them might think because of my job title and because I'm in the holding, you know, I might be more interested in this high-level artificial intelligence stuff, which basically replaces my own job. I'm not very interested in such things like right now, because I'm right now in a very precise project where we really have specific needs for suppliers. So that's why I think it makes more sense to talk about it, and it makes life easier for everyone. If the right sales person approaches me with the product I'm looking for in the very moment I'm looking for, that's absolutely perfect, right?
And in terms of the results that you've got, so you've posted things, and then what you'll get is comments like, yes, I can provide sheet metal. Or what you'll get are comments like, have you spoken to Tim, because he gets sheet metal. Is that what you're getting?
That's exactly what we intend to get, and sometimes we do it. It's also interesting. There is still a lot where the people rather write a direct message instead of commenting under the post. There are just too many people who kind of still don't want to speak out on social media, I would say. You know, I always say on Facebook, everyone speaks out. On LinkedIn, everyone is quiet. I never understood why, but that's kind of the way it is. So we often get direct messages from people telling us, hey, I know a supplier which might be able to help you. Then we get some messages from suppliers that are really interested to supply what we have. Sometimes there are suppliers that are offering us similar things. Sometimes, you know, that might be good or that might be not valuable at the time. But it's more and more also starts that we kind of start to develop a crowd of buyers, you know, like liking and commenting on the search post in order to make sure that it gets a certain reach. Sometimes commenting about companies that might be possible or about contacts that might be helpful. And that's how we try to drive it out to the world. And of course, I mean, we are still very small, you know. I mean, I'm a nobody from Switzerland, kind of trying to establish a bit of a new thing. And I think it just needs time, you know. I'm a bit impatient from time to time, and Catherine always tells me. Catherine is my first ambassador in the project. She joined from the beginning, and she actually liked the idea even I would say even more than I when I had it, because for me in the beginning it was like, that's not really an idea. She joined from the beginning, and she said she's gonna support it, and you know, even today when I sometimes say, you know, it's just, you know, it's still not flying, then she says, come on, what did we achieve in this only, you know, like 5 months now?
Yeah.
There are actually more and more people jumping on the train. It's exactly as you said, you know, with the yellow frame, we are trying to get attention, because, you know, everyone knows the green frame for the job seekers and the purple frame for the people that are hiring, and we actually try to make it in the same design, so it could become an official thing of LinkedIn once, you know. It looks like official, it's just different color and a different hashtag, and that's how we are trying to establish it. We hope it attracts the people to click on our profiles and then find out more. And yeah, I think it's a bit a paradigm change also.
It is. So I mean, there's lots of exchanges at the moment where you can go on and advertise this stuff, and people can sit there and pay a subscription. So why are you not using those? Why LinkedIn?
Well, the first of all, it's because it is free.
Right.
Because I said I never said we should use LinkedIn only. There are the traditional ways, there are the indexes and stuff like that they and they have a reason why they are existing. That's all not wrong. I just say, if we have such a powerful tool with, you know, like algorithms and stuff in front of us, why aren't we why aren't we using it? And for me, I always said use it as an add-on. And I see some clear advantages. First of all, you have this typical network factor. The bigger it becomes, the more you will have other people supporting you. Now, in the beginning, I had a lot of procurement people telling me, oh, but why should I tell the procurement guy of my competitor's company where he can find a good supplier? I said, well, because this guy might tell you something as well in the future. And it's not anymore this old world where we are hiding everything, right? Or I just don't think that's the future, to be honest. Second thing is, on most of these indexes, supplier indexes, the suppliers have to pay money for it. So you usually don't find startup companies. You often don't find smaller companies. And there are a few companies which probably don't even want to be found because they right now have enough customers. Now, what if they are my ideal supplier, even though they right now have enough customers? If they see me posting on LinkedIn and stuff, they might still be interested to make an offer, or probably to scale up their own manufacturing area or something like that. So they might have thought before they are full, and now they are not full anymore because they are willing to scale up as they see an important or good customer, potential customer coming up. On the second, it also has some positive side effects from my point of view, because it fosters discussion. And I think we need more open discussions. We need more open exchange with other people, because social media is called this way because it should be social, right?
Yes.
Right? We should socialize. If I just put my profile up there and nothing is really going on and stuff, it's boring, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I don't know why people do it. I personally, I don't understand. They should just take themselves off LinkedIn if they don't want to be social.
Absolutely.
Somewhere else. Ring people up.
Exactly. And I had that often with these search posts. I had experiences where someone said, "Hey, Mario, I don't have exactly what you need right now, but can we talk about this and this and this?" And they said, "Hey, listen, right now I really don't have an ear for that, because that's not what I need right now. But hey, you're a great person, and let's keep in touch and stuff." So I think it helps everyone. I mean, remember how we got in touch, right? I mean, you just read my very first article somehow. Yeah. And then you said, "Oh, wow, this is kind of this procurement guy."
I've been looking for you for a very long time. I've been looking. We've been trying to launch social procurement for over 2 years and can't find any company that will basically stand up and say, "Oh yeah, this is a really good thing." And then I bump into you on LinkedIn, and you say, "We're doing it and we're getting results." It's like, wow.
Yeah. So you see, it's kind of, and that's how we start discussing, and that's what I would say is socializing, right? Because otherwise we might have never met. I mean, I studied for a few years in Manchester. I don't know how close you are.
We probably wouldn't have met in Manchester, no.
So you see,
we got a good question here from James Marland. Do you have any good stories of? I was actually going to ask something similar to this, so this is really timely. Thanks, James. Do you have any good stories of buyers finding suppliers on LinkedIn and actually consummating a contract? So in effect, are you buying stuff on LinkedIn, and are you saving money? What's the business benefit here?
So I can tell you a few examples of the search posts. The majority of the search posts that we did so far were done by Catherine. Basically, most of them for her company, but also for other companies. She was, for example, looking for a supplier for working clothes. Like the stuff that the people in the production are wearing, uniforms and stuff like that. And the category manager responsible for that did actually talk to her, and then they defined kind of what do these guys need to do, and they actually thought they have a pretty good market overview. And they found, if I remember right, something like 7 new suppliers. 5 of them were quite valid and not known. And obviously they are right now in final discussions to award the business. And obviously from the 2 that are still in the final round, one of them was an existing supplier and one was a supplier that they found via social procurement. So that could well become the first success story of someone really being contracted.
And are you looking at? I mean, procurement's about savings, as you said. And are savings expected?
It's difficult to
Please
say
share
because that really depends on the product you are looking for.
Yes.
On this working clothes stuff, there is a clear focus on saving money while still maintaining the good quality, because cheap uniforms is not what you want, right?
No.
Because you will just replace them more often, so it wouldn't pay off. But yes, there was quite a focus on savings. There is another category where they were, for example, looking for online trainings, and there the focus was rather not on savings. It was rather on complementing the training variety that they have.
Right.
And of course, the company is in the automotive industry, so they have some mandatory trainings that they have to do in order to fulfill the standards and the norms of the automotive industry. And they had to complement it. So there the focus was more on really getting it. Now, in my case, for example, I'm right now looking for suppliers for really, really complex machinery elements. And if I say machinery elements, I'm talking about huge things. So at the end, if I find the right supplier for that, he will manufacture sheet metals and rollers, and he will do assemble stuff and things like that in a machine size of like 3 meters times 5 meters or something like that. That's how it's going to be shipped to me or to the customer, and we are usually then doing full production lines. So we are selling production lines to the customers, where we will take a lot of these machines and integrate them at the customer sites in order to make it his production line. In my case, the result, the search resulted in 40 companies reporting back, but we made several posts over several weeks actually. We just close. We are just about to close the registration period at the end of this month, and after that we will start screening through the companies. And of course, that will need a little bit of time. We also have some companies that we got from other sources, so we have a total of around 100 on the long list in the markets we are, and we are talking about complex things. So to be honest, you probably have to ask me again in a year whether we were successful, or whether the supplier who was successful was one that came up from social procurement. Okay. But there are definitely very good effects. We are still in a very early stage of doing this social procurement stuff, of course, and it's not the right thing. We also have to confess for everything. We never had something where we had no reactions, but for example, there were a few searches where we only had like 2 reactions, 2 new suppliers identified, and both of them were not really capable. So then we said, well, it was worth a try, right?
So, and what do you think about James's point that LinkedIn seems a bit public? Lots of buyers would be concerned about the public nature of their requests.
Yeah, that's one of the complaints that I hear the most, definitely. But I always say, there are possibilities. First of all, you do not necessarily need to post what you are searching for your company. So I could search for the company of someone else, and someone else could put the post for the company of myself, and by that we could kind of hide who it is. On the other side, that's actually an interesting approach. Being a buyer since over 20 years, I like competition. I like it specifically if my suppliers are having competition, which for me also means, is it bad that my actual supplier sees that I'm watching the market and screening the market for other suppliers as well? Probably not, because that shows him that he cannot sell for every price, for every quality and stuff like that, right? So he sees that we are screening the market. Now, then we get similar things where people say, yeah, but now our customers will see that. I believe that none of my customers would think that we manufacture everything in-house, because no company nowadays is manufacturing everything in-house. Now, wouldn't it be a good signal to my customer to show that I'm investing time and effort in really find the best suppliers for the product later selling to him?
Lowest price.
That's what everyone wants, right? So I still have a bit of a I still wonder why no one wants to go out and be more open about it. I know the tradition is different, But as you know, on LinkedIn, I hold the title, the self-given title of supply chain innovator. The reason is because I think we need to do new things in order to get new results.
Yes.
And that's the whole thing. So if we only do what we did for the last 20 years, we are going to get the same results that we are getting that we got the last 20 years. Sometimes they were good, sometimes they were not. Improving is about trying new things.
Yeah, and this is about, for me, this is about a debate. It's about, we're starting a debate. Social, even though it's 20 years old, is still very young in terms of the way it's used in business. And I think it's great that what you'll do is you're innovating and experimenting. And innovating and experimenting in a way that sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. We take some things on and we walk with them, but sometimes we leave behind. So
exactly,
so it's great. James has just followed that up, so makes sense. As a customer, I feel good that you are cutting costs and innovating in the supply chain. Yeah, absolutely, thanks, James.
That's what I would expect. I mean, if I would see my suppliers doing their own social procurement in order to find their raw materials and stuff like that, I would basically say, hey, these are innovative guys. They are obviously doing something. So I say, hey, why shouldn't we show it to our customers as well?
It amazes me on the sales side. It always makes me laugh that you get these supersonic startups in artificial intelligence, and then they cold call you or they send you email, they spam you with emails. It's like, this is, you're using 40-year-old technology to tell me about your supersonic piece of artificial intelligence. Do you not see that there's an irony here?
Obviously, the intelligence is not working, whether it's artificial or natural one.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's just bizarre that I've got this great piece of artificial intelligence. Well, if you're emailing me, it can't be that great, can it?
I agree.
So Mario, I love the fact that you've been innovating and as you know, I've written about you, and I wanted to get you on and talk about this. And I just think it's great that you're part of a debate, and I think it's all James is great that James has been listening in as well in terms of I know he works in supply chain as well. So we'll gradually get the message out, and it'd be great for you to come back in like a year's time or something and tell me how it's gone.
Absolutely, I can tell you. I did a great podcast with Philip Moder. He's a sales guy from Germany a few weeks back, and it was actually also interesting. He said, Mario, after these statements that you made here, I will get from my community a lot of questions, and you will have to answer them sooner or later. I said, absolutely, that's exactly what I would like to achieve. If someone wants to do something. And figure out how it goes, and we are helping for free. Actually, I mean, social procurement is a group of people that basically give their free time and their spare time for free to other buyers in order to help them achieve it. And now we are talking about how to also spread the message to the sales side in order to make sure that we get this done. And obviously, I already see James did it kind of triggered him a bit, I mean,
yeah, it's great. And Mario,
James and I might get in touch after this talk, and he might say, hey Mario, why are you not helping me in that? And I might send him over some materials, give him some starting points, and yeah, that's how it is, right?
And if people watching have got more questions and you don't want to debate, then send the questions to me, and we'll get Mario back on, and we'll basically read out your questions and do a Q&A, and we'll do this again. Because what we've done is that we've kind of presented this to a whole bunch of people that have probably not seen or heard about it before. And just like James, they're going through the process. God, I need to go away and think about this. And if you want to send some questions to me, and we'll get Mario back on, and we'll do a Q&A session. I'm happy to do that.
Absolutely, and everyone can also just contact us directly. So you either contact me on LinkedIn, or you go to the showcase site of our initiative. It's always #social procurement, or you just search for the #social procurement, and you will see our search posts and stuff. So there is really, I think it's easy to find us. Meanwhile, the only thing is we need to spread the word a bit more to make sure that the people are looking for us.
Yeah. Okay, well, yeah, James has got to run, and so we. So thank you so much for the questions and people tuning in. Mario, where can people find you?
Yeah, as I said, online on LinkedIn is probably the best. Just enter my name. There is only one Mario Brookman on
There's
LinkedIn
only
so
one
far.
Mario Brookman, yes.
Okay, that's not what I wanted to say with that. It's just there is
Actually,
only
it's
one
over
person
something,
named Mario Brookman so far. That doesn't mean I'm that unique. I think everyone is unique, right? Even if the name sometimes is.
Yeah. No, and it's what you're doing is wonderful. I love the way that you're creating this debate, and you're willing to come on and talk about it and explain it, and you explain it in a really eloquent way. So it's been fantastic, and thank you so much for coming on and sharing the insight. Thank you.
Thank you very much for giving us the chance.
That's okay, and sorry about the technical hiccups. But we're here.
It happens sometimes, but at the
It
end
does, yeah.
we
Never work
made
with
it.
children, animals, or computers is my saying.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much, Mario.
Great.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much.